With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Coming up on its 10 years, our 10-year anniversary. We've had a whole bunch of movies, 18 by next week's count. There will be 20 by the end of the year. And one of the characters that you're wondering what's going to be the next step coming after the Avengers films is Chris Hemsworth. Well, he says here that he's done with the character unless they can make a good script. Well, I kind of half believe that, half don't believe that. It says here that we know that Chris Hemsworth Marvel's contract is sadly finished after Avengers 4. However, it looks like the star could really be putting the hammer down as Thor unless they manage to lure him back with something good. Saying here, my contract's coming to an end. We've just finished the last two Avengers. Who knows what the future holds? We feel like we reinvented the last one in a big way. It felt refreshed and re-energized. We might have a conversation if there's another great script that comes along, but at the moment, that's it. Well, scripts can always come. They can always come from other stories. You know what I mean? Like, you've moved Asgard. I mean, the idea at the end of Thor 3 was Asgardians are going to move to Norway, which I think was mentioned in like the comics. But we don't know where things are going to go following the opening of Avengers Infinity War or what's going to happen next. But that being said, it's the cosmic side of things is where it's at. The cosmic side of it is where things are going. And given the fact that Thor 3, and I just being realistic here, Thor 3 grossed the most money out of any of the Thor movies because of that change and everything else is what's going to, you know, make Thor 4 a reality probably more or probably sooner than, let's say, Iron Man 4. Right. I mean, you could argue that, like, you know, Civil War is Iron Man 4 and Spider-Man Homecoming is like almost like Iron Man 5. You know, they keep featuring him, but Thor kind of hit his stride with that. Now, speaking last month, Hemsworth said of his contract, I won't be playing the character again. It's sort of a scary thought. This really seemed like this never-ending thing, and now it's potentially finishing. He also said if he returned, it would be a conversation further down the road. Well, let's take a look. Let's think about this here. I mean, why did Thor 3 connect the way that it did? Right? Why did Ragnarok connect the way that it did? It connected the way that it did because people found that Chris Hemsworth is actually a pretty funny guy. And his work as a dramatic actor failed to connect outside of the character of Thor. You know, look at his movies. Black Hat was pulled from cinemas in early 2016, I believe. After just 2 weeks of being in theaters, it just tanked. You know, 12 Strong just came out. Nobody went to go see it. You know, and other movies he's been in over the years have failed to do very well. In fact, the only real shining thing to come out of Ghostbusters 2016 was him riffing on set, him joking, the sarcastic humor of his character. And a lot of people really liked it. In fact, he has said that Ghostbusters was one of the primary reasons why they decided to go the route that they did with Thor Ragnarok and allow him to be more of a comedic actor and to play those chops up well. And audiences responded to that. And I think you can't really argue with the box office take home of Thor Ragnarok and not go, yeah, the audience really, really, really liked him in this role. Now, whether or not because they shot Ragnarok before Avengers 3 and 4, if that's going to carry over, if that kind of dry, sarcastic humor is going to carry on. But people are going to want that. They're going to want that kind of colorful world that they created. And we know that James Gunn is really pushing, he's going to be kind of the architect of the next 10 years. And they're going out to the cosmos. And, well, Thor is a perfect example of a character to keep going on. And I feel that that we're going to see a Thor 4. Definitely, or another team-up movie that's going to have Thor come in, like Guardians of the Galaxy 4 featuring Thor, right? Or Guardians of the Galaxy Thor. There we go. That's what you call it. Because that is going to be something that works well for him. He may want to take a little bit of time off to be with his family, raise his kids, and I completely understand that. But you also have to go where the audiences want you. You also have to go to where the work is. And if studios look at him and go like, Chris Hemsworth is a household name. People know him, but let's look at the box office returns from everything he's been in outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has not done well. Then his only real work is going to be if Disney comes along and say like, well, you want to keep going, and they'll be able to sign him to another contract. And I think the contract they signed him to might come across as lucrative, but it will never be as lucrative as, let's say, Robert Downey Jr. if he continues to soldier on. And I'm not trying to be critical of Chris Hemsworth here or attack Chris Hemsworth. I like him as a person as well as an actor. But there's I think a stark reality as to where his career has gone, the trajectory of that career, and where it's going to go in the next phase. And honestly, hitching his wagon to Marvel is probably the best thing for him, or trying to find other comedic roles that would allow him to play it up like that. But I can't guarantee that we're going to see any bit of that at all in the future.